Hello friends, welcome to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. Today we'll be discussing on Unit 15 Participatory Development as part of Semester 3 Sociology. If we see across the world, my dear friends, at the initial stage, the government used to design the policies for the betterment of the people. But later on, they came to know that without people's participation, no program is going to be efficiently implemented, or else the objectives of the people, objectives of the policy will not be effectively implemented. Let me give one example. When Chandrababu Naidu was the CM of undivided Andhra Pradesh, at the time he thought of utilizing the human resource, especially the women human resource, which is mostly ideal after the household activities. He thought that let us train them with certain skill so that they can use that skill and they can turn that skill into employment, or they can improve the income of their family. So at the initial stage, they have selected a village. They have gone to the village and they said that it's only a pre-pilot study. We are going to select 50 women and we are going to train them in tailoring. Then none of the women came forward. Then they said that along with the training, we also conduct a nominal examination and we are going to provide you ITI certificate so that you can find the employment in the industries too. But none of the women came forward. And they said that along with these two benefits, we are going to train you, we are going to provide a training certificate, ITI certificate. Along with that, we are going to provide a sewing machine free of cost, which is worth around 16,000 to 20,000. Once they said that you're going to get sewing machine free of cost, then all the women who are there in the village, they raised their hands and they said they want to learn it. But however, they said it's only a pre-pilot study. We'll pick 50 women, we'll train them, and after studying whether the objectives have been fulfilled or not, based on that, it will be taken up on a larger scale. Then they picked 50 women. They have trained the women, and then they have given a certificate along with a sewing machine free of cost. And they have left the women for almost 6 months. And after 6 months, they have taken up an evaluative program to see the effectiveness of the program, whether it contributed to uplift the economical condition of the people or not. And surprisingly, they came to know that only one woman came forward saying that she is working and she is making money because she belongs to a tailor community, not the other. So if our duty is to identify, not make the planning at the top level and try to push that policy on the head of the people, our duty is to go to the ground reality, identify the resources, identify the problems, and also involve the people in identification, in designing the policies so that the people will be part of the planning part. People will be effectively, they will implement it effectively so that the objectives will be fulfilled, my dear friends. So we need not a top to bottom approach, but we require a bottom to top approach where the people are involved. Our duty is to give respect or importance to the indigenous knowledge and also the people, because people are residing there. They know their resources, or they know their problems effectively. They know their strengths. So we have to utilize the resources effectively so that we can come up with the best policy which can be effectively implemented, my dear friends. This approach, this bottom to top approach is going to help in human growth, development of self-confidence of the people, the pride among the individuals, and we have a better initiative, creativity, and people take the responsibility and even cooperate with the administrators in terms of all the activities from planning towards of execution, my dear friends. So they can identify the solutions to the problems in a best way. So Bastian and Bastian has said that there are four principal characteristics, ideological frameworks, and politics in terms of this participation of human beings. The first one, what he said is that participation is employed as a simple means to get unpaid labor from the people. They said that if you're going to involve the people in the development process, then you get either cheap labor or else you're going to get the labor free of cost for going to be a part of the development activity. It may be used for creating the developing the infrastructure to that village. So for that, we require policymakers and planners to effectively cooperate with the people, make them understand what they are doing, what is the purpose of that, and if you are going to gain the trust of the people, they will come forward and they will take part in the development process. So it is going to reduce the burden. It is going to reduce the expenditure of any program, my dear friends, and is one of the simple technique to get the labor free of cost for any of the development project. Second one, he also said that participation is often interpreted as an attempt to promote self-reliance. Those people who are going to support the variant of participation share common ideologies in the underdeveloped countries or developing countries. So if you are going to have initiatives for betterment and to reduce poverty, then obviously they will come forward, my dear friends. The only thing is that we have to make them understand that when they take part, it is going to lead to self-reliance, my dear friends. The third one is participatory approach is going to create an ideal village. For example, if you go to Warangal, rural, you'll find a village named Gangadevapalli. It is one of the top 3 model villages in the country. And you know what they have done? They did not expect the government to come and bring the reforms or transform the village. The Sarpanch, with the help of the villagers, they have organized themselves into multiple groups and they've tried to uplift the condition of the village, provide better opportunities for the village. They have nearly 18 communities which are even now functional. They have a committee which provides safe drinking water for all the people, for all the houses. For that, they try to bring a water purifier with the help of Tata Company and with the help of a local organization which is working in Warangal district. And later on, they also started providing bore water. They have 3 bores in the village and no individual bores for the houses, and it provides water facility for all the houses which are there in the village. For that, there is a committee. And they must, in order to ensure that there is no wastage of water, they have a committee. And if anyone wastes the water, then they will be put on a penalty of 500 rupees. For that, there is a committee. In order to ensure that the roads are clean, a committee. In order to see that the drainage is properly clean, there is a committee. In order to ensure that people use toilets per nature call, for that there is a committee. In order to stop them to going to the nature call on the streets here and there, for that there is a committee. To stop alcoholism in the village, there is a committee. To ensure that each and every child goes to the school, there is a committee. Likewise, there are 18 committees which are going to look after the welfare of the village in all the aspects. They have CC roads, they have 24 hours internet connection, free Wi-Fi is provided, and dish connection is provided very, very nominally, and so on, my dear friends. So participation can also create new techniques which can create the villages to be a model villages or even ideal villages, my dear friends. And the last one is, he said that it is going to resort to a method of project management. It is believed that adopting participatory method project can successfully manage and complete the task, my dear friends. So these are the four main areas according to bastion, and bastion. These are the four characteristics of having a participative development, my dear friends. According to Chamber, he has identified three main ways in which participation is used in the development concept. You must have heard about Robert Chambers. He was a person to introduce a new tool in terms of research, that is RRA, Rapid Rural Appraisal, which was later converted into Participatory Rural Appraisal. He said that there are three main ways by which we are going to have participation in the context of development. The first one is it is used as a cosmetic label to make whatever proposed appear good. So whatever the things you're going to propose it is going to look good for the people. And once people like it, do you know what we are going to do? We are going to make them part of the project so that we are going to have cooperation, and we also reduce the cost for the maintenance of the projects. And the last one, he said that it is a way of empowering people by enabling them to take decisions on the problems they encounter, and they use the best possible ways to address that issues also. Let me give one example which I have observed in Adilabad among Gond tribes. There are two NGOs which are working to uplift the socio-economical condition of Gond tribe. One is Dan Foundation, DHAN, Development of Human Action, and there is one more organization which I have seen is Ekalavya Foundation. There are plenty of organizations, but I have come across these two organizations and I have also saw their work too. So one fine day, these two organizations were working on irrigational facilities, how to strengthen irrigational facilities so that they can improve the agriculture sector. If you go to Adilabad, you will find the hilly region. And whenever there are rains, the water will be washed off. Along with that, we also have soil erosion. So in order to address these two issues, my dear friends, do you know what they have done? They went to the people and they said that we are going to construct the trenches, make small ditches on the land, so that whenever there is soil erosion, the soil will come and fall into the pit. And again, you can bring the soil back so that soil erosion problem can be solved. Second one is that the water will come and fall in the pit or in the ditch so that the underground water will increase. So you can utilize that underground water for agriculture purpose. So the labor were not interested that much. So they said that in order to make them take part in that, they said that if you're going to allow us to make a small trench or else a pit in your area, we will give you 3,000 rupees free of cost. We are giving you as benefit. So some of the people, they came forward and they gave their land to the organizations to make a small trenches on the hilly agriculture fields. And after 1 or 2 years, they came to know that the underground water facility, underground water has been increased. So there is plenty of water available so that they can do agriculture. And what happened? The agriculture production has been increased. So first one, what happened? People went there, NGO people went there, they educated them, they started giving financial benefits to the people so that they can make the trench. After 1 or 2 years, do you know what happened? Because the people are being benefited, do you know, they asked the NGO people not to give 3,000 rupees. And some people said that we will make the trenches or pits by our own. There is no need for you to come because it is for our own economical benefit. Agriculture production is going to lead to their economical prosperity. So according to Chamber, there are three main ways of participation. One is to make a label fancy one, make the people to take part, reduce the cost. And next one is empower people so that they make the decisions on any problem on their own and address the problems on their own, my dear friends. It's not to make the people dependent on the government or the external agencies, but to depend on themselves. We require self-reliance, my dear friends, and self-exploration. Then according to John Curayan, he has said that the evaluation and emergence of participatory approach is a movement of development debate, and it focuses on goods and services to highlight the prime role that public participation plays in the process. They are going to talk about not only goods and services, but about public participation in the process of manufacturing the goods and how they are going to utilize the services which are available in that particular area, my dear friends. Now, let us see some of the definitions of participation. It is both a narrow term as well as a broad term. When we talk about narrow, it talks about participation to be active engagement of citizens with public institutions as an activity which falls into three well-defined modes like voting and election, campaigning, and contacting either individually or through group activities. They talked about three. One is voting, election campaigning, and contacting either individually or through group activity. That means you are going to elect a representative who can do the well for the society. But whenever we talk about it as a broader term, it is a collective sustained activity for the purpose to achieve some common objectives, especially with an equitable distribution of benefits of development. It's not only about manufacturing the products or being a part, but also ensure that whatever the benefits are there, that are equally distributed among all the individuals who are there in that particular community or society at large. According to World Bank, they said that participation is a process through which stakeholders influence and share control over the development initiatives and the decisions and recourses which affect them. He talked about three. They said that they are going to influence and share control over the development initiatives. That means whatever the process is there, they are going to take care of that, make decisions, and if there are going to be any decisions which are going to affect it, you can also restructure it, recourse it, my dear friends. According to UNDP, United Nations Development Program, it said that participation means people are closely involved in economic, social, cultural, and political process which affect their lives. So they're going to be a part of this, all the four processes: economic, social, cultural, and political processes. We have seen that people are going to be part in all the domains. Then we call it as participation. People are going to be part. Now let us see about the variants of this participation. According to Jan Nelson, he has identified three varieties of participation. The first one is horizontal variety of participation. For example, like we have partisans, or we have political behavior, or voting, campaigning, interest groups, activities, or even lobbying. So all these we call it as a horizontal variety of participation, where people are going to participate in the activities and get involved in the collective activities so that they can influence the policy decisions. For example, if we see in the northern part of India, the last 2 years back, like you must have seen, the farmers were on the Delhi streets opposing the farm laws, 3 farm laws. And later on, do you know what happened, beta? The government of India was supposed to withdraw it or keep it aside till the queries or the concerns of the people are addressed. So we call it as horizontal variety of participation. Then according to Nelson, the second one is vertical variety of participation. It includes the members of public develop particular relations with allied or official relations that mutually benefit both the public as well as the government too. It is just like people are going to develop the network system between the government and the people. Like we have Raitu Sangalu. And this Raitu Sangalu or the farmers clubs, we have the agriculture officers going to these clubs on frequent basis, and they are going to give advice to the farmers on doing agriculture. They're also going to give the advice to the people on monsoon conditions, on the new problems for the crops, and also what kind of solutions need to be taken in order to develop the agriculture sector and so on. So it is simply a cooperation between the public sector and the people, my dear friends. So here they are going to have a mutual cooperation, but it is not concerned with influencing the government as developing a particular relationship and receiving benefits from the government. It is like win-win relationship. And the third one is participation in administrative process. Third one is participation in administration process. We can call it as the overlap of both the horizontal as well as vertical one. In this, it is going to take the form of an interest group activity to shape up the administrative decisions of or a particular exchange between the patron and client. So here, the people are going to influence the government in terms of making the decisions. It also includes decisions by farmers whether to adopt new technology or not, whether we need to have rural dwellers meeting together to plan on communal efforts to put up a market or taking part in civic education programs and so on. So here both the people come together and work together, and the people are going to put or build up certain pressure on the government. So they are going to influence the government. So it is a combination of both horizontal as well as vertical participation. Then we also have the United Nations Capital Development Fund, which suggested that high levels of participation should be there. It suggested that there must be high levels of participation. This is going to help in terms of manipulation of policies, sharing information, having consultation between the people and the public domain, and then building consensus among the individuals, then building the policies, making decision makings, sharing the risk, partnership, and self-management. So if you're going to have high levels of participation, all these activities are going to take place, my dear friends. Prati has mentioned about 7 different types of participation. He said that it is passive participation, not active, a passive one. Then it can be participation for information, participation for consultation, participation for material benefits, functional participation where people are going to come together and work, interactive participation, and self-mobilization. So he has talked about 7 types of or forms of participation, my dear friends. Now let us see the advantages of this people's participation in any domain. The first one is people's participation in development projects brings effective social change rather than impose an external culture on your society. Without people's participation or people's acceptance, you cannot bring any change. For example, almost 2.5 decades back, there was a tribal area which was neglected by the government of India. But when there was when the tribal area has been brought into a constituency, now their votes are considered to be important. So at the time, all the political parties, including Congress and BJP, they came to know that the tribal community, those people do not put on the clothes at all. And these people have taken trucks filled with clothes, and they have distributed the clothes to the people. And they said that we are trying to socialize the people. We are going to bring them into the mainstream. We are going to make them civilized and so on. They distributed the clothes and they came back. And there was a journalist. He wanted to see just distributing the clothes, whether the people have been civilized, what have they done with the clothes. And when he has gone after a week's time, the people where they have received the clothes, they have thrown or put on the clothes there itself, left the clothes there itself, and they did not put on the clothes at all. So our duty is to educate them. Educate them about what? About the problem. Educate them what the government is trying to do, why they are doing, what are the resources being spent, what is expected from the people, everything. If you're not going to tell them and make them part of that, then there will be wastage of resources. It's simply imposing external culture on the people. That's it. So we require participation so that we can bring effective social change. Second one is community participation, especially in designing and management of the project, will enhance the likelihood of the project to be successful. When I was working for the ILO project again, it was on skill development program way back in 2003. We have gone to Addagutta area. We also call it as Subhash Chandra Bose Nagar, which is one of the biggest slum in India. Our duty was to identify former child labor, gone to brought them to the school, but they have been dropped out and doing nothing. So our duty is to identify the dropout child labor, ex-child labor, train them with certain skills of their choice so that they can have a decent living. So when we went to Addagutta area or Subhash Chandra Bose Nagar, people, we have gone and we introduced ourselves that we are from ILO. We are working along with Cease Child Labor, Consortium of Employees Association for the Elimination of Child Labor and NGO. We are working in collaboration with Cease Child Labor, and our intention is to uplift the condition of the child labor. Do you know what was the question? How much funds did you receive? And what is our share? And we said that it's an international project. We don't have much. Then they said that we know that government gives fund and a lot of NGOs are simply eating the money. So if you want to work in our locality, then you have to give a share in whatever the profits you make. And they also said that no one is going to talk without our approval. And we have been in that village in that area for almost 2 months. None of the people in the slum area came forward. And after constant interaction with the leaders, local leaders, and so on, they allowed us to work in that area, my dear friends. Without community participation, we cannot implement it. So we require community participation right from designing the policy or program and management. The next one is participation in planning and implementation of the programs can develop the self-reliance. Then it also increases the efficiency of development activities because we involve the local resources, human resources, we take the expertise of the people and so on. So it also reduces the expenses or the cost of the project. It also increases the effectiveness of the activities where people are involved, my dear friends. We can also take the local knowledge into consideration. We also understand the problem effectively, and then we can also make the decisions which are relevant, which can address the problems which are there in that area. Whatever the problem is there for me, it may not be a bigger problem for the natives or the local people. Their problems may be entirely different. So our duty is to take the knowledge of the people, understand their problems, and also address it from their perspective so that it can be effectively done. Then participation also builds local capacities and develop the abilities of local people. So later on, when we move from that area, the people can manage the programs on their own, my dear friends. So we are indirectly going to increase their capabilities. It's just like a training program, on the job training program, so which improves the skills of the individual so that they can manage it effectively after the withdrawal of the government also. Then we also have the benefits like we can identify the key stakeholders, because our duty is we target to benefit the poorest of the poor. So our duty is to identify them. So participation of those people can also help us in identifying the poorest and providing the benefits to those people. Then we also can improve the status of women by giving an opportunity for them to play a part in the development process. For example, if we see whatever the schemes are being implemented by the government, which are related to women and especially children, are being spread by the Anganwadi centers, ANMs, and by the local health worker. A local health worker is a person who has basic education, maybe 7 to 10, and who has free time, who can go across the village and who can educate the people on the policies which are being implemented by the government. If I go there, I'm a stranger to them. People may listen to me or not. But if the locals are trained, and if you're going to use them as a mediator between the government and the locals, it will be effectively implemented, my dear friends. And the last one is decision making without participation of the people will be ineffective, and no development project can be effectively implemented. So all these are the advantages of this people's participation, but it also has its own disadvantages. Let us discuss what are they. First one is participation can cost time and money. How it is going to cost? Just now we said that it is going to reduce the burden on the government. But if you have to bring the people, educate them, train them, all these things, it is going to take plenty of time. Remember, without people's involvement, it cannot be implemented. So it takes time to educate, to motivate, to be a part of this. It takes plenty of time. And during this process, it also involves a lot of money, my dear friends. So it can be both cost in terms of time and money. Process of participation, sometimes it may be irrelevant and is a luxury in situations of poverty. And it will be very, very hard to justify expenditure on such a process where people need to be fed and their livelihoods are secured. And for example, when we are doing this PRA, like on that day, we require the people's participation for identifying the resources and also making the decisions. On that day, there is no work for them. That means there is loss. There is no security of livelihood. So it will be the burden on the government to provide all the facilities like food, everything. It will be an expenditure. Then the third demerit is that participation can de-establish forces which can imbalance existing socio-political relations and threaten the continuity of development work. So sometimes there can be imbalance between social political relationship. If there is no balance between, if there is no proper cooperation between the workers or the people and the government, then the development work cannot be initiated. The next one is there can be ideological fever. For example, because some people may be against Congress philosophy or the leftist philosophy or the rightist philosophy, and people may not try to seek direct benefit from that. So at that time, because of this ideological perspective, people may not take part in that activity. The next one is it may result in shifting the burden onto the poor. Because right now the government is going to provide the fund, they are going to take care of all the activities. But if the government is going to withdraw from the activity and it is going to put on the responsibility on the shoulders of the people to promote development and equity, then there are chances that it is going to increase the burden onto the poor. For example, when the government of Telangana started giving agriculture subsidy or 4,000 rupees as agriculture inputs to the people, plenty of other schemes have been removed. And most of the farmers who are large-scale farmers are being incurring losses or at the disadvantaged group, my dear friends. It is going to increase the burden onto the poor. The next one is, if the participation has been failed, then we are going to have the issues of power and power sharing. These are the disadvantages of the participation if not effectively done, my dear friends. Now let us see about people's participation in development. Actually, the concept was not a new term. It was formulated in the year 1970s in response to the growing awareness that various approaches were employed for rural development, such as community development, integrated rural development, and so on. We have World Conference on Agrarian Reform and Rural Development at Rome in the year 1979, which declared participation by rural people in the institution that governs their lives is a basic human right. That means people need to have participation in the basic institutions, and that must be the fundamental right or the basic human right. If rural development has to be realized, then it said that the disadvantaged rural people have to be organized and actively involved in designing the policies and programs, and also take part in controlling social and economical institutions. The conference, which was done in 1979, it tries to see a close link between the participation and voluntary, autonomous, and democratic organizations representing the poor. It called upon development agencies to work in cooperation with organizations for benefiting the poor people, my dear friends, through having assistance to be channelized. Participation is indispensable ingredient in the development process, and we require advocacy of people's participation in rural development programs for the development process. The 10th plan of India has given much importance for people's participation, for promoting agriculture, food and nutritional security, providing safe drinking water, primary health care, universal primary education, housing and connectivity to all, besides promoting participatory institutions like panchayats, cooperatives, as well as local self-help groups or DACRA groups. Then what is the rationale of people's participation in development? The main rationale of people's participation is that the goal of socio-economical development cannot be achieved unless the citizens actively involve themselves in the preparation, implementation, and follow-up of the development plans and programs. So the rationale can be classified into 7 types. Like it can provide an open forum for the people to discuss their problems, find solutions which can be effectively implemented, and that too which are economical. The second one is it is going to have a proper facilitation and effective mobilization of local resources for rural development programs. Then we also have direct participation, which encourages faster action, which reduces delay in terms of implementation of the program, and also tries to reduce the red tapeism. So it is going to reduce the cost. The fourth one is people's involvement in planning can raise the level of their consciousness of their rights as well as their responsibilities, which can also bring about change in the society. People's participation and coordination essentially deliver all the services effectively deliver all the services and implement the development programs effectively, my dear friends. And active participation also makes officials aware of the problems of the community and ensures efficient and smooth implementation of various development schemes in the local areas. And the last one is direct participation may lead to transparency and accountability and reduce cooperation. So participation of people can help in all these 7 areas. According to the World Bank, they have mentioned 5 reasons for community participation. First one is people have a great amount of experience. They know about their society. They know about their resources. They know about their strength, their weakness, everything. Most of the people may be illiterate, but my dear friends, they have their own experience with their life and with their surroundings. So our duty is to take that experience into account, my dear friends. Second one, World Bank said that involving local people, especially in planning the projects, can increase their commitment towards the project, commitment of the people as well as the government agencies. Third one, it is going to help in developing technical and managerial skills among the individuals and increase their opportunities for employment. So people who are unemployed, they can enhance the skills and tomorrow they can work effectively. There is an organization which is working near Shalibanda, near Charminar, Hyderabad. The name of the organization is Boys Town. And this organization do not depend on any external agency or any person for financial resources to run the organization. They have their own industry setup, like they are going to, after completion of the 10th of the children, if any orphan or single parent are there or people who belong to the economically downtrodden, they are going to train them on the machine, on a particular skill line. And this organization has collaboration with nearly 80 companies or 80 industries. And they are going to take the orders from these 80 industries and they are going to manufacture the spare parts. And do you know what they do? They are going to give these spare parts to the industries, and whatever the money they are going to generate, they are going to use it for educating the children, for providing the hostel facilities for the people, for providing food, everything, my dear friends. It is just like train them, use them, manufacture the products, sell the products outside, and whatever the money they generate, again use it for the industry itself. And after the successful completion of 2 years of training, they are put to ITI examination. And after successful completion of ITI course, do you know the benefit? These 80 industries are coming forward and they are hiring the people. They are simply providing employment for the people because they have the required skills to work on the machines. So involving people may help them in developing the technical as well as manager skills, which can provide employment opportunities for the people. The fourth benefit, according to World Bank, is it is going to increase the resources available for the program. So whatever the resources are there, when you're going to involve the people, they may bring the available resources which they have with them. For example, you want to develop the irrigational facilities. Already there is a river, but there is plenty of silt. So you want to remove the silt. So the people who are there, they may give their tractors, they may bring their tractors to remove the silt so that they can have more water in the pond or tank and so on. So people's participation can help in increasing the resources. It can be financial resources, it can be the required human resource to work in the project, or else the other materials which are there, my dear friends. And the last one is it brings about social learning for both the planners and the beneficiaries. Both of the people are being benefited. The beneficiaries will put forward what is the priority, what is the problem to be addressed. And the policymakers will also understand the pulse of the people. They'll understand the problems of the people so that they can work efficiently. So these are the 5 benefits of community participation according to World Bank, my dear friends. Let us see the main objectives of people's participation. We can classify that into 3 types. One is better planning and implementation. Second one is mobilization and additional resources which are required for the development process. And last one is empowering people. These are the 3 main objectives of people participation. Now let us see about participation in planning and decision making. Rural development can be very, very successful if we are going to have a clear-cut understanding on the problems which are there in the rural areas, understand the problems along with the responsibilities, exercise the necessary powers, and maintain a constant vigilance on local administration, which will help people's participation in planning as well as decision making, which takes in several steps like planning, executing, evaluating, and so on, my dear friends. The decision making centers from identification of problem, generation of ideas, formulation of alternative, and assessment of options, and putting selected options into effect. That means first identification of problem, identify different methods to address the problem, and identify the best idea which is economical and which can be implemented effectively. Then we are going to assess the options and put that option in for implementation. So we are going to involve starting from identification to implementation, revaluation, and also again restructuring the policies if required. That is also being done by the people in terms of participation. Now, the government of Telangana has been taken effective measures for effective implementation of the people's participation, especially in the rural development program, through people's representation like Panchayat. We have the Gram Sabhas, which are being strengthened and even being given powers so that they can identify the problems and they can also work on it, my dear friends. These are the, we are going to decentralize. We are going to give some powers to the panchayats so that they can make planning and they can also address the issues, my dear friends, at the local level itself or at the grassroots levels. The scheme where there are problems, where the areas where the problems are severe, the government is also going to select the Gram Sabhas and they are going to implement the programs in those areas. So in Telangana, effective planning is being done and effective resource allocation is being done for the development of the people through people's participation. So till here, we have studied about people's participation in development. Okay, so participatory development plays a vital role in the development process with less cost effective and do miracles in the society. I hope you guys have understood it. Thank you.